And my thing is that was then, this is now. Let's go forward now with our lives. And I want to say to not only their community, but to every community, every church community.
At 85, Shirley Caesar is finally breaking her silence on the dark secrets that have haunted her life. She was just a young girl singing with her father's gospel group when tragedy struck. Her father died when she was only 12, but she turned her sorrow into strength, diving deeper into gospel music.
And I know who I am, and I know that I would never say anything to harm anybody.
And performing everywhere from small churches to television shows with evangelist Leroy Johnson. What could be so urgent that she'd speak up now after all these years? Let us uncover what's been hidden behind her songs, the unheard melodies of Shirley Caesar's early years. By the time she was 10, she was already singing with her father's group. This early experience set the stage for her lifelong love of music and introduced her to the joy of performing gospel. Sadly, her father passed away when she was just 12 years old. This could have ended her dreams, but instead it made her even more passionate about music. After her father's death, she began touring with evangelist Leroy Johnson, which gave her more exposure and helped her improve her skills. Johnson's television show in Portsmouth, Virginia, offered her valuable experience performing in front of both live audiences and cameras. Just when she was making a name in gospel music, a mysterious person who had seen her perform made her an offer that could change everything. In 1951, at just 13 years old, she recorded her first song, "I'd Rather Have Jesus." This song showcased her growing talent and hinted at the successful career she would have in gospel music. While still in high school, she toured across the Carolinas, working hard to perfect her art and building a loyal following along the way. Her dedication was a clear sign of the passion that would drive her throughout her long career. But her journey wasn't without its challenges. Growing up in North Carolina during the Jim Crow era, she faced significant racial discrimination. These experiences tested her strength. For example, she often encountered blatant racism, like when restaurants would refuse to serve her by suddenly putting up closed signs as she approached. Even at school, she faced prejudice. She remembers a time when she and her black classmates were given stale cookies, while the white children received fresh ones. However, the strength to overcome these difficulties came largely from her mother, Hannah, who taught her the importance of self-respect and determination despite the harsh realities they faced. These lessons were vital, helping her navigate the challenges of her early life and eventually leading her to gospel music stardom. After finishing high school, she was determined to continue her education. She enrolled at North Carolina Central College, choosing business education as her major. It was during her time in college that something extraordinary happened to her. In the middle of a routine typing exam, she heard a voice calling her name. Confused, she looked at the classmates sitting next to her to see if they had spoken, but they hadn't. Later that day, while lying in bed, she heard the voice again. This time it was clear. She had been chosen to spread the gospel from a very young age. This moment changed her deeply. It made her believe that her true purpose was to share religious messages through her music. This new sense of direction guided all her choices and had a big impact on how she approached her music career. In 1958, at just 19 years old, she decided to reach out to Albertina Walker, the leader of the famous gospel group, the Caravans. Albertina, impressed by her singing talent, was eager to have her join the group. Her next step changed everything. The early years with the Caravans. Joining the Caravans was a major turning point for her. She decided to put her college education on hold to focus on music full-time. This was the beginning of her professional music career, giving her a chance to showcase her singing to a wider audience and improve her skills with the help of experienced performers. But touring with a well-known gospel group wasn't always easy for the young singer. On her first night performing with the Caravans, things didn't go smoothly. She stayed alone at the Casbah Hotel in Washington, D.C., a place known for its significance to African-American culture. It was her first time staying in a hotel by herself, and the experience made her feel very vulnerable and lonely. That night, she faced a difficult situation when a male gospel singer made an unwanted advance toward her. She handled it with grace and maturity, firmly saying no to him. But this wasn't the worst part. Being on the road brought more unexpected challenges. As she settled into her role with the Caravans, her talent began to shine more and more. She performed alongside well-known gospel singers like Albertina Walker, Cassetta George, Dolores Washington, Josephine Howard, Eddie Williams, and James Hernan. This time with the group was rich with learning experiences, allowing her to develop her own unique style. While she was with the Caravans, she recorded several songs that became big hits, including Sweeping Through the City and No Coward Soldier. These songs showcased not just her powerful voice, but also her ability to connect emotionally with her audience. Yet, as is often the case in the music world, things didn't stay smooth for long. By the early 1960s, tensions were growing within the Caravans. By 1961, she felt it was time for a change. She decided to leave the group and focus entirely on her evangelical work. It was a tough choice. She felt a deep calling to the ministry that went beyond her role as a singer. As she explained, she could no longer ignore the strong pull to serve her faith fully. Her journey into full-time ministry was a lot busier than her days as a singer with the Caravans. Leaving the group wasn't just an ending, it was also the beginning of a new chapter, setting her up for a solo career that promised big things. After spending 8 productive years honing her craft with the group, she was ready to face the world on her own. This leap of faith was made official when Hob Records offered her a contract to record solo, an opportunity she couldn't turn down. Her first solo album with Hob Records, I'll Go, featured her not just as a singer, but as a powerful performer, with the strong support of the institutional radio choir. This album became a way for her to shine on her own, with songs like Oh Peter, Don't Be Afraid, and Choose Ye This Day, which highlighted her unique voice and her gift for deeply connecting with her listeners. But this was only the beginning. She quickly released a series of hits that firmly established her as a solo artist to watch. Songs like Satan, We're Going to Tear Your Kingdom Down, and God's Not Dead, He's Yet Alive, became fast favorites among fans. Another popular song, Don't Drive Your Mama Away, resonated with many listeners, helping her solidify her place in the world of gospel music. 1971 turned out to be a major year for Shirley when she won her first Grammy for the song Put Your Hand in the Hand of the Man. This was a huge moment, proving that her decision to go solo was the right one and affirming her place in the music industry. New successes brought new challenges. The gospel diva's secular foray. Just a few years later, in 1975, she hit another high point with her first gold record for the song No Charge. This song struck a chord with many people, showing her talent for blending great music with powerful messages. But even with these accomplishments, she felt a growing desire to reach more people than what Hob Records could provide. When her contract ended, she chose not to renew it, looking for a new direction that could spread her music to even more listeners. In 1977, she boldly signed with Roadshow Records, a label outside the gospel world. Her first album with Roadshow, First Lady, marked a noticeable shift in her style. Although it was still rooted in gospel, many gospel fans thought it sounded too much like secular music, and some DJs even refused to play her songs. However, despite the pushback, the song Faded Rose from the album became a beloved classic. But things didn't go as planned. The album didn't sell well, but it did end up giving her a new title. She became known as the First Lady of Gospel Music. Hoping for a different outcome, she released another album with Roadshow in 1978 called From the Heart. Unfortunately, it faced the same criticisms as her first album with the label, with many still finding her music too secular, which hurt its success. After facing some criticism for her recent projects, she felt a strong need to reconnect with her gospel roots. She decided to look for a music label that would truly capture her authentic gospel sound. In 1980, she teamed up with Word Records, a decision that set her on a path to many successes. Over the next few years, she won several Grammy Awards, proving she was back on track in the music industry. This was also when she released some of her most influential songs, which cemented her place as a key figure in gospel music. She always stayed true to her musical beginnings and often spoke of Albertina Walker, her former bandmate from the Caravans and her mentor, as a major influence on her career. She held Albertina in the highest regard, often calling her the Queen of Gospel, to show her deep appreciation for Albertina's role in her journey. But things weren't always easy for her. She found herself caught up in debates about inclusivity and acceptance in the church community. The speech sparked a wave of backlash from both the public and fellow artists. Yet, this was just the beginning of the storm. She felt the need to step into the conversation and chose to speak out during a sermon at First Church, where she tried to encourage a more open and loving dialogue within the community. At the Baptist Church of Glenarden in Baltimore, she shared some thoughts that caught many people off guard. She didn't avoid Burrell's earlier comments or suggest we try to understand them more deeply. Instead, she thought Kim Burrell should have spoken up sooner, especially during a time when important policy changes were happening at the national level. Her opinions sparked big discussions, the surprising repercussions of gospel discourse. Many were surprised to see her views align so closely with Kim Burrell's. Considering her well-known status in the gospel music world, her opinions had a big impact. Her support for what some saw as controversial ideas led to a larger discussion about acceptance in religious communities and what responsibilities public figures have when they speak about sensitive topics. She went on to discuss the importance of being careful with public statements, which is particularly relevant in today's digital age. She even suggested that church leaders might consider asking people to secure their personal devices during events to help keep the atmosphere respectful and focused. She made this point as she faced increasing criticism and wanted to make her position clearer. In a candid interview with Bishop George Bloomer, she addressed the backlash head-on. She stated clearly that she was against homophobia and never intended to hurt anyone. She described herself as someone who understands who she is and is dedicated to respecting others, highlighting her desire to avoid negativity at this point in her life. But this wasn't the main issue at hand. She explained that her comments about Burrell's timing were meant to question why those remarks weren't made during a critical moment when they could have had a stronger influence on public conversations. She also presented herself as someone focused on kindness and making a positive difference in the fourth quarter of her life. This topic recently came up, sparking a discussion about why someone would shake up their life over something like this. A well-known figure said that what happened in the past should stay in the past, and that everyone, from every background, should move forward. She ended her speech by calling for love and acceptance, no matter what community or group a person belongs to. She even quoted the Bible, saying that love is how people would know who truly follows the teachings. Shirley's explanation didn't completely clear things up. Some people found her words unclear or conflicting, while others agreed with her call for love in moving forward. What's more, her involvement in this discussion led to some surprising consequences. Some began spreading rumors about her past, hinting at relationships with other women. These rumors were not confirmed, but some saw them as an attempt to question her position. This also sparked a broader conversation about sexuality in the world of gospel music. People started talking about other Christian musicians who had openly identified as LGBTQ, challenging the traditional views in the Christian music industry. For example, Trey Pearson, the lead singer of the Christian rock band Everyday Sunday, came out as gay in a letter to his fans. His band was well known in Christian music, with many popular songs. Another example is Vicki Beeching, a well-respected songwriter and performer in the Christian music scene, who came out as gay in 2014. Her songs had been sung in American churches for nearly a decade. Her announcement was a big moment, especially since she was 35 when she shared her story in a British newspaper interview. But that wasn't the most surprising part. Jennifer Knapp, another acclaimed Christian music artist, left the music scene in 2003 without any explanation. After staying out of the public eye for 7 years, she returned with a new album and openly talked about her sexual orientation, which was another major moment for the community. When Shirley married Harold Williams, their relationship was more than just romantic. It was also a strong professional partnership. Together, they led the Mount Calvary Word of Faith Church in Raleigh, North Carolina. Under their leadership, the church grew and thrived, becoming a lively community of about 1,500 members. Even though Shirley didn't have children of her own, she embraced being a stepmother to Harold's 2 kids with open arms. Personal loss and new beginnings shaped her path. A gospel legend's undying influence. But in 2014, everything changed. Harold passed away on July 4th, leaving a huge gap in her life, both personally and in her role as a church leader. Despite the deep sadness, she stayed committed to her work at the church and her music career, showing incredible strength. That same year, something unexpected happened in her music journey. Her song, Teach Me Master, from her 1972 album, Get Up My Brother, found new life when a Dutch producer named Bakermat used a sample of it in his song, Teach Me. The new track climbed to number 22 on the UK singles chart. This mix of gospel and electronic dance music brought her powerful voice to a younger generation, proving that her music could still reach and inspire people. But this wasn't the end of her impact. In 2016, her album, Fill This House, went straight to the top of the Gospel Billboard chart, showing that she remained relevant and could still connect with listeners after all these years. During this time, she also received many awards recognizing her lasting influence on music and culture. In May of that year, the National Museum of African American Music honored her with the Rhapsody in Rhythm Award. This award celebrated her enduring contributions and her ability to inspire future generations through both her music and her leadership. Before the museum opened in 2018, Nashville honored her lasting impact on African American music with a special award. Just a couple of years earlier, in June 2016, she received another major recognition when the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce awarded her a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. This star serves as a lasting symbol of her influence on the music world and her status as a cultural icon. Despite these honors and her continuous contributions to music and ministry, Shirley has faced some strange challenges lately. Oddly, there have been several false rumors about her death spreading at different times. For example, one video mistakenly claimed that a photo of a hospitalized Black woman with a breathing tube was Shirley in her final moments. These unfounded rumors caused confusion and worry among her fans. But that wasn't the worst part. Talk about her health and supposed death resurfaced as recently as January 2024, when another video appeared online. This video suggested she had died by presenting a review of her life and career. In response to these ongoing false stories, she decided to take matters into her own hands. She made a spontaneous video to speak directly to her fans. Sitting at a table, Shirley addressed the situation with a mix of humor and frustration. She joked that unless she had turned into a zombie, she wasn't aware of her own death. But the confusion didn't stop there. Shirley also confronted other health rumors, like the claim that she was in the hospital with throat cancer. With her usual wit and grace, she firmly stated that she had never been seriously ill and considered her health a blessing. She thanked her supporters for their prayers and love, urging them to spread the word that she was alive and well. Through all these challenges, she has continued her work in both music and ministry, staying true to her passion and purpose. What other challenges do you think Shirley will face? Comment your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more.